We've been seeing it in all kinds of articles for the last few years now. Rent in our area is rising and is among the most expensive in the country. It's getting harder and harder for renters out there. Good morning and welcome to Maryland Today. My name is Jeff St. Pierre, and joining me to discuss a new rental counseling initiative is Nina Heck, Advocacy Director and Assistant to the President of Guidewell Financial Solutions. Nina, always great to see you.
Thanks, Jeff. Thanks for having me.
I understand that Guidewell has just recently launched a new housing initiative, rental counseling, this spring. Why did you decide to develop this program?
Safe and affordable housing is just a basic need for all of us, considering that 40% of Americans currently are renting, and our purpose in this is to help them learn to budget, save, and understand their rights and responsibilities. Considering the population that we serve, this benefits the young people, the empty nesters, the immigrants, seniors looking to downsize. So it fits for everyone. And the statistics show that the low-income Americans who rent, more than 60% of them are spending half of their gross income for rent, which really is concerning in that, just one thing can go wrong and set them up for failure and ultimately be evicted.
Yeah, well, it sounds like people on limited incomes often spend too much on their budget on housing. How does Guidewell help them understand how much they can afford to pay for rent?
So we talk about this often on your show about the holistic approach that we have.
Yeah.
The housing counselors are prepared to offer this comprehensive financial assessment, including their income, their current budget, expenses, and any outstanding debts that they may owe. Once you've determined those figures, it allows you to figure out how much money is available for your rental. And it really needs to be about 30% of your income should be, as opposed to what we had in our earlier statistic. So ideally, we work with someone prior to becoming part of this statistic. They have a much better chance of being financially stable.
It sounds like budgeting is clearly an important area covered during rental counseling. Why is it so important for people to check their credit report before they get out there and try to rent?
Well, they have to understand that in order to complete the application, the landlord is going to pull that credit report, and that's going to be the basis for whether or not they become their tenant. So my hope is that most of the listeners are already pulling their credit report. Again, as I always suggest, go to annualcreditreport.com. They offer you the Equifax, TransUnion, Experian. My suggestion is to pull one at a time, maybe every 3-4 months. That way you can spread out a calendar year's worth of credit reports. If there's been something you needed to correct, you'll be able to see the changes on it.
I would assume that you find quite a few people that are looking to rent who haven't done their homework and who have low credit scores. What happens to these folks?
So part of the counseling includes credit building. And in the situation, the counselor works with the individual to develop strategies as far as how to improve their credit score. And for example, some of those things might just be paying your bills on time. First-time renters may find that they don't have a score because they really haven't previously applied for any type of credit. So the credit building piece can help them give the knowledge of what they need to do to have that credit worthy piece on the report, such as, being banked with a checking and a savings account, and then knowing the different types of credit that they should be applying for.
Let's talk about the person who's renting and in need of counseling because they've suffered a job loss or divorce or something came across their lives. What should these folks do if they're facing eviction because they can't pay their rent anymore?
Well, when you think about our earlier statistic that 60% of Americans are paying half of their income just to rent, it doesn't take too many things to go wrong before they can't pay. So the first thing, you want to quickly respond to what the new income is and how that affects the budget that you currently have. Many times this turmoil leads to stress, and with that, there's just no hope of how it's going to all work out. I always suggest reach out. We have the housing counselors there that can work with them and help them assess what the new situation is.
Sounds like your counselors probably see renters in a lot of different situations. What training do they have to do this type of counseling?
So our housing counselors are certified through NFCC, also NeighborWorks Housing, and we're a HUD-approved agency and have been since 2008.
Okay.
This training equips them to have the right knowledge to help direct the consumer and reassess the income and the budget and what their credit situation is at the time maybe something has gone wrong. We provide assistance by leveraging our partnerships with the local legal services, mediators, and utility representatives, and other partners that we've established throughout the years. You need to understand that renters may be evicted in a much shorter time than someone that's being foreclosed upon. So that's something that should push you to do something sooner rather than later.
So if somebody listening today wants to take advantage of this service that you offer, where should they go? What information do they need to bring?
So they can reach us at 866-731-8486, and of course our website at guidewellfs.org. And in order to do the session, we ask that they have proof of income, a list of what their current monthly living expenses are, and any current statements or information on the outstanding debts that they may have. They should also bring a copy of the lease that they currently have if they're renting.
Are there other services that you can help them with if you find other factors that are causing financial problems?
Sure, Jeff. We have, of course, our structured debt repayment program. If they're having trouble maybe repaying credit cards or medical bills, or they may have some collection accounts, so that can be of a benefit. We also offer the student loan counseling. So if they're struggling making their payments for their student loans, that's really a good benefit that we now have. And then, of course, bankruptcy counseling if they really have no alternative and they feel that they just need to get rid of the debt.
Yeah. Has anything else come out of this new initiative that we should know about?
Guidewell Financial Solutions recently began a place-based partnership with the University of Maryland, Baltimore to help the local West Baltimore residents gain financial literacy and essential housing skills. Part of this effort allowed us to place a certified housing counselor at an on-site University of Maryland Center for Engagement at 1 North Poppleton Street every Wednesday from 10 a.m. to 6 p.m. And this is really exciting for us because 75% of the people that have come in, and they literally just walk in, are looking for rental counseling help. So it's really been a great initiative for us to have. It's an on-ground, working in the community, and we're just happy to be part of their neighborhood.
That is great, and I'm glad to see that people in the community are starting to take advantage of this. How can rental counseling help them if they want to buy a home in the future?
So it can be a critical piece for those who hope to one day own a home. The habits and skills that they've learned in the rental counseling will help to make them more informed buyers in the future. Mm-hmm. And then some of the clients we've counseled are definitely considering the benefits of home ownership versus renting, especially considering the cost of the rents right now.
Yeah.
It's really gone up, and affordable housing is a key issue for everyone.
Well, that leads me on to another question here, Nina. If someone out there is renting but interested in purchasing a home, would that person also contact you?
Absolutely, Jeff. The first thing we cover is determining their financial readiness, and we're ready to complete that financial assessment with them. We have coaches. Again, I think this is really key to home ownership that can work with them to help create that savings that they're going to need. Mm-hmm. And also if they have issues with their credit that they need to work on, the coaching program is available for a full 12 months. And sometimes it takes that long to be prepared for home ownership.
Sure. Well, I understand Guidewell Financial also has an online program that can help potential homeowners. How does that work?
We have our eHome America online course, and it's an 8-hour course. It's a self-paced course available to the consumer 24/7. The course provides comprehensive information on everything from how to prepare financially to how to choose a mortgage or deal with settlement. And then once you complete the course, you'll receive a certificate, which can really be beneficial for down payment assistance or maybe even discounts on interest, considering state and local programs that are available.
Well, Nina, I want to elaborate a little bit on something you just mentioned, because you mentioned a certificate that might help you with some assistance or discounts. Can you talk more about this?
Sure, Jeff. There are many down payment assistance programs throughout different cities and states that the consumer should look into based upon their financial situation. Mm-hmm. For instance, here in Maryland, we have a program called the You've Earned It program that they can Google by going to the Maryland State Government website. And that primarily works for anyone that has $25,000 of student loan debt. Mm-hmm. It does require that they consider purchasing in a state sustainable community, which is all explained on the website.
Okay.
But what it offers is a 0.25% discount on a fixed rate 30-year conventional mortgage and government mortgages, and also $5,000 in down payment assistance in the form of a 0% deferred loan. So both of these are really great options for that particular circumstance. But there's a lot of programs available. I know in Baltimore City they have different down payment assistance programs. And again, they can contact our housing department and they will certainly make them aware of what's available here in Maryland.
Well, before we hit that contact information, one thing you did mention, so the You've Earned It program, if you just Google You've Earned It, that'll kind of get you in the right direction. That's a great way to go.
It is.
Okay.
It is. Yes.
Perfect. Well, what's the contact information for Guidewell Financial Solutions?
So they can reach us at 866-731-8486, and our website is guidewellfs.org.
Well, Nina, since we're going to wrap things up here in a second, do you have any final advice for people who are looking to rent or hope to own?
So, Jeff, I know many of your listeners are contemplating what's best for them, especially considering how low the interest rates are right now. Key things would be the savings that they have in place and also having a budget that works for them. I would again just stress, contacting our housing department because these are areas that we can certainly help them with.
And what is that contact info one more time?
The phone number is 866-731-8486, and you can see us at guidewellfs.org.
Nina Heck, the Advocacy Director and Assistant to the President for Guidewell Financial Solutions. Thank you so much. Always a ton of information. And again, that website is a great place to go to get the phone numbers or just get more information in general. Guidewellfs.org. Nina, thank you so much for being here.
Thank you, Jeff.